He eyes you coolly and slowly, up and down, evaluating you. He pauses for a time on your face, almost as if jogs his memory somehow. He sighs, then says, "Can I help you with something, friend?" "Do you recognize me?" "I thought I did, but those pictures are centuries out of date, and the suspects be dead by now." Ooh. Ooh. Course there are the planes and Stranger Things. Stranger Things. Welcome back, Bashers, to episode 9 of What Are We Doing? Who are we? Where do we go? All these answers, and some others, can be found in this wonderful series. In the last episode, man, what an episode that was. We have explored the nature of the name, well, the origin of the name Norokch, or Onraj, apparently, maybe. I don't know, if you missed that, go watch it. It was great. I got to put my academic hat on, and honestly, I haven't had this much fun recording an episode of anything. Ever, I don't think. So, I think I'm gonna, more of that, please. Like, what is Creekness? Creek? Oh, well, that's probably Creek knees. Well, another mystery solved. The detective damage strikes again. Right, this is episode 9. From more news and announcements, I had pondered about installing some mods. I have found many mods that Planescape Torment can do, and I've never done mods in Planescape Torment. But apparently, some of them might be a little bit tricky if you don't use them on just a game from the start, and install them like on top of a game that's already running, like this save file. So I'm just afraid I'm gonna ruin all of this somehow. I would of course make backups, but then backups don't always work the way that they intend to. So I've got no mods. But maybe I will. Maybe I will get some mods in the future. From other news, I have finished my Carceri art, and honestly, I'm not too thrilled about this. I mean, I like the concept because this is the mythical mountain. Paste mountain name here because I forgot it's a fortress that sits atop of 2 different mountains. And of course, Kandrian here talked about poisonous jungles of Carceri, even though whenever I was actually looking up Carceri, not many people have said about poisonous jungles. Well, I mean, it wasn't the main theme of them, but I decided to, give Kandrian a good shout out here. Poisonous jungles it is. Anyway, what am I doing in this episode? I think when I was looking back at the episodes that I've done in the past, and I am running around like a cat, like a mad cat. So I've been wandering around 4 or maybe 5 of the same areas, and I've not been fully committing to any one area, and I was just running around. So I think for this episode, I'm going to start off with a supercut I'm just going to go and talk to everyone. And whenever I find something that I haven't seen before, something that is interesting in some point, we're going to cut to it. So it's going to be a super compilation of things that have actually, are actually of interesting values. What? No. That's not how you say it. Just, good things. So I'll be back with good things.
Updated my journal.
Oh. Okay. Dakan teaches you some of the common forms of speech. A wise man is said to have wrote the book of the Anarchs, while to accuse another of treason is to remember Vilkar's eye, the set of generous people that their cupboards are bare. Common greetings include Hail, Swordringer, and Zerkais can bow to you, to which one should respond, and the traveler is pleased. Dakan is a skilled teacher. After his instruction, you feel capable of exchanging proper greetings with another Githzerai. Yeah, so I haven't moved from where we left off. I was just I wanted to talk to my people, and apparently now that I've interacted with Dakan a bit, I could ask him to teach me some language. So I got some XP out of that. Okay, I think I'm getting onto something again. I've asked about Akali drowning, and Know this when Akali drowning is spoken. The speaker is telling you the answer to your question would serve no purpose. Know that it carries the unspoken intent that the question be shaped so that it is more specific. Who was Akali? Chali. Upon our home plane of Limbo, I'm gonna research that name, I'm gonna research it so hard. We must shape the plane with our minds, or the chaos of the plane will devour us. Akali was one of the people who did not know herself. Time came upon her when she lost herself in the chaos matter of the plane. She knew not how to return to her community, so she shaped a small island with her thoughts and waited. She waited. In waiting, she met a traveler swimming through Limbo's sea. Akali is said to have called out to the traveler to ask the way home. Only one question need she have asked. Know you the way to my home? Yet she asked, what know you of the plane? The traveler knew much, and much of what was said was new to Akali. I should stick to one pronunciation here. Her questions grew, feeding upon the answers, until she knew not where she was and knew not that she must maintain focus. The small island she had shaped dissolved into the chaos matter, and she drowned. It is a lesson that tells of the harm in asking without purpose. That is a very interesting tale. I'm going to quote this to people in real life because I'm being asked the wrong questions so often. You slide the plates into the configuration is what I've said last time. Dakan showed you, and a new ring is revealed. The ring carries the same script as you read before, with the same geometries. You know the symbols and know you can read them. We're just milking Dakan for some more, more stuff. Read the third circle of Zerthmon. Zerthmon labored many turnings for the illicit Alrathi twice deceased, and his partnership in the cavernous heavens of the false worlds. His duties would have broken the back of many others, but Zerthmon labored on, suffering torment and exhaustion. It came to pass that the illicit Erlathi, twice deceased, ordered Zerthmon before him in his many-veined Galleria. He claimed that Zerthmon has committed slights of obstinance and cowardice against his partnership. The claim had no weight of truth, for Alathi only wished to know if flames raged within Zerthmon's heart. He wished to know if Zerthmon's heart was one of a slave or one of a rebel. Zerthmon surrendered to the illicit punishment, rather than reveal his new-found strength. He knew that were he to show the hatred in his heart, it would serve nothing, and it would harm others that felt as he. He chose to endure the punishment and was placed within the pillars of silence, so he might suffer for a turning. Lashed upon the pillars, Zerthmon moved his mind to a place where pain could not reach, leaving his body behind. He lasted a turning, and when he was brought before Alathi twice deceased, he gave a gratitude for his punishment to the illicit as was custom. In so doing, he proved himself a slave in the illicit's eyes, while his heart remained free. By enduring and quenching the fires of his hatred, he allowed Arlathi twice deceased to think him weak. When the time of the rising came, Arlathi was the first of the illicit to know death by Zerthmon's hand, and die a third death. What did you come to know? Endure, and enduring, grow strong. This is what Dakan says. I learned that sometimes the leader must suffer in order to protect his goals. See, usually the first option was the simple one, and then the 2 was educated, but somehow I feel like this is reversed, because this is like this is the straightforward understanding of the story that we've just read. Yeah, this is the stuff. The game makes it hard for us. We actually have to think about this. The words you speak, or maybe it's always been like that, and I'm just a dumb idiot. The words you speak seem to strike Dakan strangely. As you speak them, his forehead creases and then resettles into its normal passive expression. Gained item. Your will has brought into the knowing of the third circle of Zerthmon. With this knowing, I impart this on you. He takes the circle, and with a deft motion, he twists one of the links so one of the plates slides forth. He hands the plate to you. Meditate upon its teaching, and the knowing of it shall give you strength. Is there more you can teach me? As you ask the words, you suddenly notice that the Khan isn't looking at you. He's holding the unbroken circle in his hands, studying it. His blade has taken on the same texture as the unbroken circle, and the Khan suddenly seems older somehow. The Khan? The Khan black eyes rise from the circle and look at you. Know that I did not believe you would come to know the teachings of the circle. It is a difficult path you will walk in the learning the way of Zertimon. Is your mind focused on this matter? Sure. The Khan's fingers feel around the edges of the stone circle and he twists it clockwise, the links clicking until they have settled into a new configuration. He then reverses his motion, resetting the stone. The next circle of Zertimon is open to you. Study it, then I will hear your words. Okay. So let's do that. Also, what did I get? What did I get? Third circle of Zertimon. Submerge the well. Sure. And that is a level what now? Level 1. Okay. So that's the buff that the Khan also has. Let's talk to the Khan. No.
What is your will?
Let's read. You slide the plates into the configuration the Khan showed you, and a new ring is revealed. The ring carries the same script as you read before, with the same geometries. You know the symbols and know you can read them. Read it. Know that the rising of the people against the illicit was a thing built upon many 10 turnings of labor. Many of the people were gathered and taught in secret the ways of defeating their illicit masters. They were taught to shield their minds and use them as weapons. They were taught of the scripture of steel, and most importantly, they were given the knowing of freedom. Some of the people learned the nature of freedom and took it into their hearts. The knowing gave them strength. Others feared freedom and kept silent, but there were those that knew freedom and knew slavery, and it was their choice that the people remained chained. One of these was Vilquar. Vilquar saw no freedom in the rising, but opportunity. He saw that the illicit had spawned across many of the false worlds. Their worlds numbered so many that their vision was turned only outwards to all that they did not already touch. Vilquar's eye saw much took place that the illicit did not see. To the rising, the illicit were blinded. Vilquar came before his master, the illicit Zitaris, with the knowing of the rising. Vilquar added to his chains and offered to be their eyes against the rising. In exchange, Vilquar asked that he be rewarded for his service. Oh, so he was a... well... oof, man. Continue reading the script. At the bonding of the contract at our time occurred, many were the betrayals Vilquar committed, and many were the people that the illicits fed upon to stem the rising. It seemed that the rising would die before it could occur, and the illicit were pleased with Vilquar's eye. It was near the end of this dark time when Zertimon came to know Vilquar's treacheries. In knowing Vilquar's eye, Zertimon forced the rising to silence itself, so that Vilquar might think at last his treacheries had succeeded and the rising had fallen. He knew that Vilquar's eye was filled only with the reward he had been promised. He would see what he wished to see. With greed beating at his heart, Vilquar came upon the illicit Sicharis and spoke to his masters of his success. He said that the rising had failed and the illicits were safe to turn their eyes outward once more. He praised their wisdom in using Vilquar's eye, and he asked them for his reward. In his greed blindness, Vilquar had forgotten the knowing of why the people had sought freedom. He had lost the knowing of what slavery meant. He had forgotten what his illicit masters saw when they looked upon him. And so Vilquar's betrayal of the people was ended with another betrayal. Vilquar came to know that when Vilquar's eyes had nothing left to see, Vilquar's eye was useless. The illicit gave to Vilquar his reward, opening the cavity of his skull and devouring his brain. Vilquar's corpse was cast upon the fields of the husks, so its blood might water the poison-stemmed grasses. Nice! I have read the Unbroken Circle of Zertimon. Oh yes, that is definitely options that I have still. What did you come to know? When one chooses to see only what is before them, they see only a part of the whole. They are blind, and just as Vilkur was blinded by his promised reward, so were the Illithids blinded to the true rising. For when they heard Vilkur's words, they turned their sight outwards again, didn't they? And the rising was free to strike? When one chooses to see without knowing, they betray themselves. Which is the good option? I think this is a convoluted, this is like a simple, extracted truth. See what knowing. Yeah, I mean this is the illicit way to put this, right?
Updated my journal.
Oh. Oh no! That is weird. I think I'm gonna be level 5 now. So Fireball, well, I don't have Fireball. When one chooses to see only what is before them, they see only a part of the whole. They are blind. Although that was what I said. Know that you speak truly. Vilkur's eye blinded both Vilkur and the Illithids. The tentacled ones thought the rising to be no more. When the rising occurred, the ground drank deep of Illithid's blood. So was victory born from treachery. It's a curious lesson. Why would it be a part of teaching of Zersimon? The Khan's blade bleeds into the dead night black, and his voice deepens. For a moment you think he's angry, but you're not so sure. There's much about the way of Zersimon and his path that is difficult to know. Do you know why Vilkur's eye is a part of the way of Zersimon? It is a part of the telling of how our people came to know freedom. It lets us know that there are those, even among the people, who are not of the people, and even in the greatest treachery, a greater knowing may be achieved. Very well. You have come to know the fourth circle of Zersimon. He takes the circle and with a deft motion twists one of the links. Yeah, it's the same thing. I feel stronger. Oh, character points. Character points. Intelligence. Let's do it! Let's be a smart boy. Vilkur's eye. Now, which is... Okay, so this is blindness. That's pretty good. We might use it. But for the moment, I think... Wait, is magic missile every 2 levels? So I got 3 missiles at level 5. Am I right? So at 1 level, I have 1 missile. 3 is 2, 5. Yeah. So I guess magic missile might be good now. What is chromatic orb doing at level 5? Stun. Stun is good. Well, we have 3 of those and 3 of those, so we'll survive. There's no more. Oh, I could. There's no more level 2, but I got level 3, which I don't have anymore. Well, yet. This is now better because at level 5, let's test it out. You know, next time I fight, let's test it out. I should find myself a level 3 spell. I will quickly try to read things that Dakan gave me again. Maybe he's gonna give me a level 3 spell. Although he only gave me level 1s so far, so probably not. Zersimon was the first to know the way of freedom. Yet it was not he that first came to know the way of rebellion. The knowing of rebellion came to the warrior queen Gith, one of the people. So she, well, while Zersimon is the father to Githyanki's, the Gith was the father to the other way around. Zersimon is the father of Githzerai, and Gith led the Githyanki's. That's gonna be the tale of the split, probably. She had served the Illithids upon many of the false words as a soldier, and she had come to know war and carried it in her heart. She had come to know how others might be organized to subjugate others. She knew the path of power, and she knew the art of taking from the conquerors the weapons by which they could be defeated. Her mind was focused, and both her will and her blade were as one. The turning in which Zersimon came to know Gith. Zersimon ceased to know himself. Her words were as fires lit in the hearts of all who heard her. In hearing her words, he wished to know war. He knew not what afflicted him, but he knew he wished to join his blade to Gith. He wished to give his hate expression and share his pain with the Illithid. Gith was one of the people, but her knowing of herself was greater than any Zerthmon had ever encountered. She knew the ways of flesh, she knew the illithids, and in knowing herself she was to know how to defeat them in battle. The strength of her knowing was so great that all those that walked her path came to know themselves. Gith was but one. Her strength was such that it caused others to know their strength, and Zerthmon laid his steel at her feet. Oh, what did you come to know? I am not bright enough to know, even at 20. Okay. Then that will be for a later date. Now I will talk to Morte. Okay, so I'm learning about the ability that I've already used from Morte. So that's okay. You see a lad who barely looks a day over 18. His face seemed to betray some tension. Help you, Cutter? Who are you? I'm Caleb. I'm a mercy killer. Here with Tarner and Ilsidon to catch my first criminal. What can you tell me about the mercy killers? Well, sorry, I have to get used to saying that now. What? Oh, yeah, fine. I believe that justice is the most important thing in existence. I believe that without justice, there is no meaning, and without meaning, we might as well just go off and kill ourselves. I don't want to kill myself, so I decided justice is the meaning. If you want to know more, you ought to ask one of these other two, or find one of our recruiters. They'll talk your ear off. Okay, so they're looking for a killer. But I guess he doesn't know anything. Maybe I can ask the other guys. An armored behemoth. This man is huge. He also seems to have a very keen eye. It misses nothing that transpires around him. It also seems that he has no interest in speaking to you. Hello? The man stares at you as if you were some sort of a bug. He stares at you, blinking slowly. He turns his head, then dismissing you without speaking a word. I don't want to be rude, but I will do hello again. You hear a subterranean rumble beginning deep in the man's chest. He lightly strokes his weapon and stares at you with his renewed... okay. Nope. Maybe the other guy is more friendly. Yeah, he is. You see a grizzled, burly man in spiked armor. He eyes you coolly and slowly, up and down, evaluating you. He pauses for a time on your face, almost as if jogs his memory somehow. He sighs, then says, "Can I help you with something, friend?" Do you recognize me? I thought I did, but those pictures are centuries out of date, and the suspects be dead by now. Ooh. Course there are the planes, and stranger things have happened. Still, if you're the feller I'm thinking of, it looks like you've served your sentence by means of pain. What can you tell me about this person you're talking about? It was a particularly brutal criminal, from what I understand. This was, of course, centuries ago. Immense strength, they said, and enough anger to tear the head from a barrier. We've seen barriers. Those are the Asgard half-ram people. Not a sot to be messing with. Word is, he got himself surrounded by a Red Death patrol, mercy killers, escaped through a portal and hasn't been seen since. He frowned, studying you. They have pictures of him. Take away some of the scars and you might be related to him. Probably not him, though. Sounds like a nasty fellow. And I guess I could ask him about Farad. You're looking for him, eh? From the tone of your voice, I'm betting it won't be for a quick drink down at the local tavern either. See, I know Farad of old. He's a slippery one, he is, and it will be a time before we can pin something on him. Problem is, only a fanatic like Vylard Strag, the guy without even a shred of proof. Oh, wood scragged. Okay, yeah. That's all a long way of saying I don't know where this hut is, but you ought to know he's a suspect, and it won't do you any good to be seen with him. Vyler is somebody we will get to know in the far future. I think. Far. Yeah, probably very far. Thanks for the advice. Can you answer something else for me? Who are your friends here? They're Caleb and Ilsidon. Caleb's a new meat, a new recruit. Ilson's the muscle. I am the brains. A recruit? Is that where you all dress the same? It's a uniform of a kind. We're the Red Death, Mercy Killers. We're the Justice Folks. Someone commits a crime, we bring him to justice. We right wrongs too. You may want to know more, go to talk to one of the recruiters. I don't think that you can join them. I don't think you can. Good day then. Okay, I've learned nothing. You see a scaled fiend who looks very similar to the one standing next to him. In addition to the pierced left ears, both are black-hued and reptilian, with bat wings tucked against themselves. This one is missing a tooth on his right side. Ah, Tegarin, it says, our old friend has returned to pay us a visit. So he has, Athar grin. So he has. Yet his eyes do not gleam as once as they did. What do you suppose bring him back to us? What does bring you back to us, friend? Who are you? Ah, Thathelgreen. Time has robbed our companion's memory. You honestly do not recall us, do you? Truly, I am aggrieved. But as am I, Tegarin, truly aggrieved. Yet I rest easy. It has, after all, been many hundreds of years. And we know how the minds of mortals tend to dissipate with age. Ah, well spoken, old friend. We are a pair of Abishai on leave from our current assignment in Bator. I am Tegarin, the thrice damned, so named for my ability to find the best in every situation. This is Ethelgrin, who has earned himself no special name, though not for the lack of trying. What do you mean? Athelgrim ignores you as it responds to its companion. And once again, Tegarin, you have cut straight to the truth of the matter, though perhaps it is best not to have earned the sort of notice one bearing the name Thrice Damned must surely have incurred. I had other questions. In its turn, Tegarin ignores you as it replies to its comrade. Once again, I maintain that any notice is better than no notice at all. The Abishai turns back to you. Old friend, does this answer your question as to our identities? I suppose it will have to. Some questions? Yeah. So they're not demons, of course, they're devils, Abishai, stationed in Bator. What are we asking here? What are you doing? It's not perfectly clear. What are we doing? Why is it not perfectly clear, old friend? We are on leave from our beloved assignment, taking for ourselves some much-needed rest and perhaps inducing some additional recruitment for our glorious cause. Our superiors fully support our presence, to be sure. In a more immense sense, we are taking our entertainment in this delightful establishment, and of course we are celebrating the return of our old friend. However, the stench of the breezes, which occasionally waft the scent of goodness in the door, debates us somewhat, leaving us physically, mentally, and spiritually weaker. Fortunately, the air in this ward of the city carries a delicious tang of pain and supplication. Wouldn't you agree? Again, the fiend smiles broadly at you. They're so weird. I could ask about fiends. As we see it, there are two kinds of fiends. Those who are correct and those who are not. Our side, that of the Batizu, is correct. The other side, that of the cursed, hated, chaotic Tanari, is incorrect and must be exterminated. Yes. Crusader Kings. Perfect timing for the extermination of your enemies. We hold the Tanari directly responsible for the Blood War. Were it not for them, we could have settled the lower planes in peace, and wouldn't have all the bother of fighting this wretched war. Nor would the unfortunate spillovers into the other planes be such a cause for concern among the namby-pambing do-gooders. The Tanari are directly to blame for the multiverse's sad state of affairs. That's not really what I was asking. I wanted to know what differentiates you from them. The fiend pauses for a moment and then brightens. Ah yes, you see, we represent law and order. Those who break the law must be punished. If we have no law, we have only anarchy. And surely you can see what anarchy has done to the Abyss. For the Abyss, it had spawned horrors beyond imagining. Any excesses the Batezo state may have indulged in are simply to counter the rising tide of chaos represented by the Tanari. We mean no harm to anyone, we just prefer to understand where the boundaries are. This is such a point of view. I see. Farewell. So, not really anything interesting here. Right. Let's leave this wretched bar.
Done.
Oh! I was talking to a drunk harlot. And it was a very weird conversation, but really nothing came of it. But then when I was about to leave, yeah, she was robbing me. Just like the other guy that died last time. Also, I killed the guy. You're about to turn away when you stop in your tracks. You suddenly have a feeling that something is wrong, and with this feeling comes the realization that this woman's drunkenness is just an act. You take a closer look at her. You see the harlot tucking something in her sleeve. It looks like something of yours. I mean, I could do this again. That gave me some nice XP last time, so let's do that again. Yeah. And then, can I not kill her? I mean, I could just ignore the incident and leave. Sure. Let's leave. Oh. Talking to a regular harlot and giving her enough money actually gave me XP. Because I bribed her to tell me about Farad. I found a Githzerai. Let's use our knowledge of the language to see if we can get XP out of that. Hey, old Thorwinger. Githzerai ignores you and turns to Dakan instead. Wow, racist! So our clipped words and I understand the incursion. I will be holding reserve. Wait and listen. Dakan replies in the same tongue. The sentence structure is odd. You think Dakan said this one is numbered among the faithful. The Githzerai turns to you as you speak, then turns back to Dakan and speaks again, this time at great length. Try and translate. You have difficulty deciphering the sentence structure, but you think he said there is one by Dakan's name who is not the one of the people. It is said that his mind is divided. It is said that he is a Zerf, that he does not know the word of Zertimon. Wait and listen to... Oh! The Khan is shunned by his commune. Interesting. The Khan makes the same reply as before. The tone has changed slightly, but the meaning seems to be intact. This one is numbered among the faithful. Dakan falls silent, as if to give his words time to sink in. The one beside me speaks. Will you hear him? Listen. The Gith's response is so quick it almost has the force of an attack behind it. You're not certain if you got the entire meaning, but it seems the Gith just issued some sort of challenge to the Khan in the form of question. Zerf, do you obey the words of this human? Ooh, ee, ee, ooh, I'm just gonna wait. And I wanna interrupt. The Khan's reply is a short one, but his speech is slowed, as if he has to drag the word from his throat. The Chas choice has become mine. The Gith falls silent for a time. This matter carries the stink of the illicit about it. Oof! His eyes flicker across the Khan's face. I see no chains upon you. You speak your mind. How did this blasphemy come to be? The Khan speaks slowly again. These chains are my own. His skin seems to take on an ashen shade as he speaks. It sounds like every word is slowly killing him. Anarch of 100 years. There is no hourglass that can measure the tale. A matter is as twisted as Freehe's roots. Don't know what that is. Its resolution is one of impossibility, and many never come. The Khan frowns, then his voice strengthens. The one beside me speaks. Will you hear him? Wait. The Gith does not look at you. His attention is focused on the Khan. He may speak. I will hear him. The Khan turns to you. He will hear you. Why am I... Your words are known to me. Okay, very well. I had some questions. A Kali drowning. We know what that means. Yeah, we know that. Let me be more specific. I think I don't want to really ask anything else here, so I have no other questions. But I think now I have to talk to the Khan. This is such a weird episode. I haven't moved at all. Ooh, I can ask for another phrase. What is the Cha's choice? I would know you. I would know how you came to know that expression. You spoke it when we met with that Githzerai. I would know what you meant by it. It is an expression that knows many meanings. Well, tell me one of them. The just choice, speak of one who has no choice in their action. So when I asked you to speak to the Githra, you had no choice but to do it? Why? The Khan's blade ripples and you watch as the edges become grayed and dulled. His face clenches and he speaks through his teeth. It is not my will to speak of this. Oof. I want to hear you speak of it. In fact, you said a number of things in the conversation which interested me. Let's push him a little bit, but not too much. Know that your will is my will. When you speak, know I must hear you. Know that your words may stay my blade or guide it to the throat of another. But why? 3000 XP! The Khan seems to look through you. In meaning your gaze is unbearable. Your path is my path. I am chained to you. You're my slave. At the word slave, the Khan face collapses in pain. I wouldn't have... I had no other option. I would have not called him my slave, but I get no other option. As if he was struck. As if the word was a dagger stabbing in the core of his suffering. But why, the Khan? Know it is a long tale, and know that nothing is gained from the telling. I would hear it.
Updated my journal.
The people do not allow themselves to be enslaved to another in deed or chains. If we find ourselves in such a cage, we act to free ourselves, even if it means we must endure another cage for a time. You performed a great service for me. In so doing, you enslaved me. I acted to free myself. Know that I surrendered my word and myself to act in your name until your death. But I can't die. That was not known to this one. I surrendered my word to him. I surrendered myself. Know that there is now nothing left that I may surrender except my life. Know that I follow you only so I might die. That's depressing. I probably can release... Can I release him? What was the service I gave you, the Khan? Yeah. I mean, I was also interested in that. But yeah, that's... No. The Khan's forehead creases in pain and his eyes stare through you. It is not your word that carries the weight, and your word will not free me. The word that chains me is mine. The torment is mine. I know it in my heart, that the chain remains. Word will not free them. Is there any way you can be freed? You must die a final death. Yet your path is not death's path. There is no resolution for this matter. Vow, I swear I will find one, the Khan. I will find one that sets you free.
Updated my journal.
The Khan's voice becomes ragged, as if he suddenly becomes sick. No, you have added other words to my words. His expression is pained, and his gaze meets yours. Now you have chained us both. I see. I want to ask... Yeah. I want to ask about the other incarnation that he knew. The Khan's gaze travels through you and he falls silent.
Updated my journal.
Know that he was different. Know that the differences were not marked on the skin, nor in the way of the weapon, nor in the attire that clothed him. Know that he was different in the way of thought and the means he acted upon his thought. His will became substance. Know that he saw others and did not see them. Yeah? He knew only how they could serve him. His heart was treacherous and it was cold, and never did its coldness burn him. Did he ever touch you, Declan? Did he betray you? The Khan's blade begins bleeding into a dull, flat black, and you watch as edges like teeth begin sprouting from the edge of the blade. His face clenches and he speaks through his teeth. It is not my will, you know of this. Tell me. Know that there were many treacheries. Any treachery upon me was by my hand, no other. Oh God, no. Tell me, Dakan. I surrender my word to him. I surrender myself. What are you talking about? The people do not allow themselves to be enslaved to another in deed or chains. Oh, that's... We've reached the same place. Let's do this one. You saved this one's life. In exchange, your life became mine. How did I save your life? Upon the rolling plains of Limbo, the people shaped cities from the chaos with their thoughts. Know that there is no place for a divided mind. The Khan raises the blade from his shoulder and holds it before him. As he stares at it, it sharpens until it's almost as thin as a piece of paper. A divided mind is an unfocused mind. A divided mind fractures walls and weakens stone. As the Khan speaks, the edges of the blade corrode slightly, the metal misting and melting along the edges. Many divided minds may destroy a city. Long have I known the words of Zerthimon. Through my voice, many have come to know the words of Zerthimon. The Zerth protect the community from all threats, whether to the body or the mind. They are the guiding stones in the chaos. So it came to pass that I spoke the words of Zerthimon without knowing the words of Zerthimon. It came to pass that I no longer knew myself. So you doubted the words. No, the Khan's voice is edged and his blade sharpens in response. I knew the words, yet it came into my heart that perhaps other did not know the words as Zerthimon knew them, and so division formed, as my mind became as two, as my mind became divided. Those that looked to me as a guiding stone became divided. Many scores of the Githzerai, many hundreds of scores of Githzerai doubted. Shraktor died that way. So those that followed you came to doubt the words as well, and the city was weakened. The enemies of Zerthimon came. Know that their hatred of his word and the people lent their blades strength. Know that they sensed the weakened city, and they brought war with them. Many Githzerai drowned in the chaos, and beneath the blades of our enemies, small beads of metal appears on the surface of the blade, as it is blistering. No, this has happened long ago. What happened to you? As I fell from the walls of Shraktor, know that myself was broken. My blade was missed, my mind divided. I was adrift upon Limbo's seas, and I wished to drown. I died for years, my mind awash in division. When death finally came to me, it wore your skin, and it had your voice. Me? You asked that I hear you. As the Khan says the words, your vision bleeds outwards, and a crawling sensation begins to worm its way up through the back of your skull. You feel nauseous for a moment, and your vision is suddenly as chaos, smeared, twisted, and you are in someplace else, someplace in the past. Surrender to the memory. Everything around you is in turmoil. Your vision is hazy, swirling, dizzying, all at once. There's a mist, pockets of fire, islands of mud, stone and ice-covered rocks swimming through the plain like fish, impacting and dissolving, droplets of water arcing throughout the howling air and lashing your skin like teeth. You choke back your nausea, and you steady yourselves. This is the plane of limbo. All is chaos. Nothing is stable. You focus on the dying man that lies before you. It is why you have come to this place. Echo. Examine the Zerth. See if he still lives. The man is a Githzerai, his body embedded in an earthen pocket that swirls around him unconsciously. He has formed a grave from the elements, and though bits of fire and water lick at his face, he does not respond. His hands are ashen, his coal-black eyes focusing on nothing. His emaciated frame speaks of starvation, but you know it is the least of his wounds. It is faith that dealt him the mortal blow. Look for the blade he carries. In his limp left hand is a twisted mass of metal, its surface having melted around his hand like a gauntlet. As you watch, it steams and hisses like a diseased snake. The Githzerai does not seem to be aware of it, but it is that weapon that has brought you here. Dakan, Zerth of Shraktor drowning, last wielder of the Karach blade, know that I have come to you with the words of Zerthimon, carved not in chaos but in stone, carved by the will in an unbroken circle. At the word Zerthimon, the Khan's eyes roll in their sockets, and they attempt to focus upon you. With effort, he cracks his mouth to speak, but only a dry hiss emerges. You bring forth the stone from your pack and hold it before him so he can see. Know that the words of Zerthimon inscribed upon this stone are true, and know that your divided mind needs to be divided no longer. As you must do is take the stone, and you shall know yourself again. So we gave him the thing that he's teaching us from. That's cool. Dakan's eyes flicker over the unbroken circle of Zerthimon, and for a moment you think he might be too close to death to recognize it. Then the right hand twitches and he pulls it slowly from its earthen prison. The clumps of earth streaming off it become water in Limbo's chaotic wings. His skeletal hands clutch the stone like a drowning man, and his eyes flash. Know that I have saved your life, Dakan, Zerth of Shraktor.
Updated my journal.
6,000 XP! Oh. The Khan's eyes turn from the stone and flicker over you as he hisses again, too dry for a moment to muster the words. He blinks slowly, then speaks, his voice barely above a whisper, but the words are what you wanted to hear. My life is yours, until yours is no more. Close your eyes, return to present. The Khan is silent. I heard your words. The chaos in my mind became still. I knew myself again. So you got the circle from me.
Updated my journal.
Yes, in knowing its words, I knew myself. Very word. Very word. Very well. There are other things I need to know. All of this stuff I think I've already asked. Ooh. So I'm talking to another harlot. And I think she's the first one to drop the Mimir name. Mimir's a talking encyclopedia. That's me, Chief. I see. Well. Oh.
New taunts, alright.
Ooh, I got some new curse words. I think maybe that improved the litany of curses. Have I been to Fells? I don't remember if I have been to Fells in this. I know who he is. Is it Dabus? Something about it strikes you as odd. It has the same shock of white hair, same greenish cast of its skin, the same pair of goat horns, and you suddenly realize this one is walking on the ground, not floating. For some reason, that makes you uneasy. I feel like, oh, I can tell him that I know him. Fel bows reverently, and a stream of symbols swirls around his head, rotating clockwise, then counterclockwise. It takes you a moment to translate. This is the first time, and not the first time you have come to this place. Do you know who I am? Yes, but I'm not permitted to tell your story.
Updated
Why not?
my journal.
My apologies, I cannot. I cannot change the nature of a man. You cannot explain why, but the last sentence sends a crawling sensation through your skull. I think that, yeah, this is the first time we hear about this. This is a very central theme to this game. My apologies, I cannot say. What lies beyond the curtain? Fel. A caravan train of symbols slowly materialize around Fel, one by one. It is my gallery. Your discarded skins are my canvas. I admire you. I am saddened for you. Saddened? Why? The mask of torment lies upon your flesh. Tragedies and loss have built themselves upon it. Like stones upon a foundation, you have endured great pain. What do you mean? I admire you because you have never surrendered to the weight of these losses, despite the fact that their chains hang on you still. These losses blanket this life and all of your past ones. You shed lives like a molting serpent. You are exploring the infinite paths of life. Take with you this warning. Each of your lives casts a shadow on existence. You must travel to a place where the shadows have gone mad and regrets have scarred the earth. Is there anything else you can tell me? Do not sign anything. Ooh. I don't remember that. I will take that into consideration. Not signing anything. Yes. Very well. Do you feel complete? Truth. Yeah, I am not. You are strong. Keep faith, and you shall become whole again. And yeah, let's see. What can I buy? Nothing. The harlots have taken all my money. But those tattoos are pretty good. They add, well, maybe not this one. Yeah, but like, they actually do a lot of stuff. And later in the game, you can actually get more if you bring him some stuff. Right. Can I go there?
Done.
The gallery? I'm gonna go to the gallery. Well, this is not a creepy room at all. Are these my skins? I think they're my skins. Human skin has been stretched across these wooden frames. Yeah. Perfect. I love it. Oh look, Jahai is now sober.
Updated my journal.
Perfect. Oh, I got XP from talking to Morns from trees again. I've promised him to help restore people's faith in the trees. Just care for them. Yeah, I'll care for the trees, that's fine. How about... Oh, I can order the Khan to help him, but I'm not gonna. Oh, immediately when I asked, is there any change for the trees? There was. Apparently, there has been. Nice. Well, let's care for the trees some more. Maybe it's gonna be a permanent XP inclusion for some reason. I can ask Dabus about Fel now. They don't have anything to say. This foul-looking man is quick to notice he's caught your attention. In moments, he's upon you, hawking his wares. He carries a long wooden pole, dozens of skinned and cooked rats dangle from it. As he speaks, he gestures to them with a broad, filth-encrusted hand, smiling a yellowed, snaggle-toothed grin all the while. Oi, Cutter! Oh, we're doing here? What sort of delicious rats is it you're interested in the fine day? That was horrible! Examine the rats. Each rat has been skinned and gutted, their feet and tails removed. They dangle from the pole by hooks punched through their necks. As you examine the various manners in which they've been prepared, you realize that their heads are slightly misshapen. A bulbous knot of bone protrudes from each cranium, covered in whorls that give it the appearance of a brain tissue. Those are strange-looking rats. Aye, you got a keen eye there, Cutter. All I sell is brain vermin, I do. I'm sure you'll find that they got much richer flavor than your usual rat. Quite nice, really. He prefers them to you once more, waving the pole before your face enticingly. The rats sway to and fro, hooked like tiny sides of beef. I'll try one. I mean, yeah, let's ask about brain vermin first. I Cutter, brain vermin. Foul creatures they are. Now, your normal rats, they just eat stored goods and multiply, spread disease and all that. A nuisance, really, no more. Yeah, just a nuisance, that's fine. Your cranium rat, though, brain vermin, what I go after, they're just trouble. When you get more than a handful of little pickers together, they start to get smart, only sometimes real smart. They become more intelligent. Sure as I'm standing here before you, they do. If I ran across any more than 2 score of them, I'd flee from a case like that. He snaps to emphasize the point. I would. You get that many of them in the pack? Why, they get smart as a man, they do. Go on. Here's my best advice for you, Cutter. If you're bent on catching brain vermin, stick to small packs, a dozen or so at most. But I'll tell you. He steps close, his breath fetid in your face, and speaks in a hushed tone. You run into more than that. More than a couple dozen. You run like you're in the shadow of the lady. He backs away from you again. Why? Sorcery, Cutter, sorcery. You get enough of those little fiends in a space, they gain all sorts of odd powers. Make a basher's brain pour out its ears, they will. Downright frightening. It's just wrong, I tell you. That's why Siggle's so eager to be rid of him. The bounty and all. Bounty? Someone's paying for rats' tails? That's right, Cutter. There's a brick in the Office of Vermin and Disease Control named a Lord, who pays a bounty on them. A copper head, ear, tail. It is, but they gotta be brain vermin, they do. Not just ordinary rats. Tell me more about the Lord fellow. Lord fellow. His name is Phineas. Phineas Lord. It's troll backwards. Is that a thing? Probably. Inksy was some sort of high-up. He was put down by its rivals and stuck here in the arse end of Sigil. The Berg sits in there alone and all night and all day, it seems, waiting for folk to bring in tales and paying them the bounty. You know the best part? Poor sod must be allergic to rats, cause he's always got a huge rash going. Ho ho. Powers be praised. I ain't that fella. Put down. Any idea how that happened? Well, he's right, chatty. He is. He'll rattle as a bone box for hours on just how smart he is and the like. Mayhap he got something to do with it, he shrugs. I understand. God, is so many. This is a rat vendor. I got 10 options to ask him. But I don't think. Okay, he's offering me a rat. Why not? Oof. Spiced. The rat meat is aromatic and quite spicy, apparently marinated in some sort of herbal mixture before being cooked. It's a bit greasy and rather rich tasting of some other meat you're sure you've had before. The man looks at you expectantly. Would you like another? It was good. But I had a question for you. Actually, nothing for a while. No thanks for a while. Right, I've been recording for an hour 20 minutes. And I know that a lot of this I'm gonna cut out. But even then, I feel like I've recorded a lot. Not a lot accomplished. So I think the next episode is gonna be just more of this. So, for now, man, thanks for watching this episode of Let's Pretend to be in a world where things... Oh. Will I survive this deadly encounter with Hive Thug? You will learn in the next episode of the encountering with Hive Thugs in the Hive. Yeah, bye bye. Fallout.